Keith Porter, we have not heard his name like we should have. We're just now hearing his name, and he was shot on New Year's Eve, or I would say January 1st, by an off duty ICE agent when he was just at home in his apartments trying to bring in the new year. An ICE agent said he heard gunshots while he was in his apartment, and he goes out to investigate what's going on, and he comes into contact with Keith Porter, and he announces to Keith Porter that he's an ICE agent, and Keith Porter, he claims, points his gun at him, and he kills Keith Porter. Keith Porter's name has not been said on the news outlet, but his life matters also. I made a post on him, and so many people have said they are news junkies and have not heard his name being spread or knew nothing about his death that seems to be in vain, because we know that the ICE agent was not trained to go out there to investigate what was going on with Keith Porter. If he felt danger, he should have called law enforcement. He was an off duty ICE agent.
I can tell you why Keith Porter's name hasn't been pushed out like it was with the Renee Good story. It's because Keith Porter was wrong. You guys are trying to tie it to the ICE agent. He was an off-duty ICE agent, exactly. Okay, so he heard gunshots in his neighborhood, and he wanted to see what that was going on, just to see he needed to help somebody, whatever. So the agent, I'm looking at the details. The agent said that he asked him what was going on, told him that he was an ICE agent. And the agent is telling him that he pointed his gun towards him. So what do you think that an officer or anybody that's in federal law enforcement is going to do when somebody's pointing a gun at me? Obviously, they're going to shoot back. So the reason why you have not heard Keith Porter's name is because he was wrong. That's why. Say how you want to say it. You might want to call me different type of names, but if I'm reading this report and I'm seeing what people are saying and what they're coming up with, based on what I see, Keith Porter was wrong. He was wrong by shooting bullets in the air, because what happens if you shoot bullets in the air? It's going to come down. It can kill somebody. And then if an officer comes and tells you who they are, why would you point your gun at that officer? Doesn't matter what type of officer they are. If the officer tells you he's an ICE agent and you point your gun at him, what do you think he's going to do? It is sad that he passed away. He left away some daughters, but Keith Porter was wrong. That's the reason why you didn't hear his name. What we see now is we have people having these things, trying to tie it to ICE because everything that's going on, but people are trying to tie this with the Renee Good. Basically, what these two things were, they did not listen to the federal agents. One was off duty, one was on duty. We all know, especially coming from the hood, that's the reason why this kind of caught my attention. Keith Porter is black. We all know, coming up in the hood, coming up in the black communities, we know whatever the police tells us to do it. If the police officer said he's an ICE agent, I have a gun, I am not going to point my gun at that agent. He announced himself and told him, I'm an ICE agent. And if he did actually point his gun at the ICE agent, Keith Porter is wrong. That is the reason why Keith Porter is not here. I know you guys not going to like this. I don't want to see a brother get shot, but it's not like the ICE agent came out of nowhere and started shooting. That's a different scenario. Now, I would say the ICE agent was wrong. But if everything that's coming out about this case, and if it is true, if he did announce who he was and Keith Porter pointed his gun towards the ICE agent, Keith Porter is wrong. That is why he's not here. Bad decisions. This is the reason why this name has not been pushed. This is the reason why it's been low key. Because this is never going to reach national attention. It's because Keith was wrong. It has nothing to do with he's black. It has nothing to do with this and that. It's because he was wrong. And it's sad, but we have to make better decisions. That's all this is. This is bad decisions. If I'm looking at it, it says right here, official contend that Porter pointed the rifle at the agent, ignored commands to drop it, and fired 3 shots, prompting the agent to return fire in what authorities describe as self-defense. It's right here. So if this is true, I'm only going off of if this is true. Keith Porter was wrong. He is not here on this earth because he did not listen to commands and he was shooting the gun in the air because it was New Year's. I don't know why that is that is a tradition. It's very idiotic because you can kill people because the bullet has to come down. There's been stories about young kids dying because somebody shot a bullet in the air and it comes down. So if I look at the facts, I'm not doing this over emotion. I'm not doing this over, oh, well, he's black. He's automatically right. I'm looking at the facts. If this is true, Keith Porter death is because of himself. I hate to say it. I know you guys might be mad. Oh, Marcus, you got to understand. I understand law. I understand rules. I understand if somebody gives me a good command that announced himself as an agent, that's still a federal enforcement officer. He tells me to put the gun down. I'm going to put the gun down. He ignored commands. The reason why he's not here is because of himself. And it's sad because he left behind his daughters. When you are a man, you have to understand you have a family. Your decisions do not just affect you anymore. It affects your family. So now he has, I believe, 2 daughters, 1 or 2 daughters that's without him because of his ignorance.
Not a law enforcement officer. Please make sure to share this story. Please make sure to comment, follow me. Thanks again for watching. Let's not forget again to say Keith Porter.
A lot of y'all wanted my opinion on Keith Porter's death. Ask me why I'm talking about Renee and I'm not talking about Keith. I did a little research because I'm sorry I didn't know who Keith Porter was. But he was unalived by an off-duty ICE officer. This is very similar to Renee Good's death. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Celebrating the new year was shooting off gunshots. That is illegal. Also, what goes up must come down. I actually just watched a news segment talking about do not shoot up in the air because those bullets have to go somewhere. And it showed all the victims last year that were injured by stray bullets. And one of them was a kid, and that's super sad. Anyways, an off-duty ICE officer, I believe, was in the area or lives in the area. He heard the shots. He went to the shot, and that's where he met Keith, and Keith had the gun. He would not put the gun away. Keith pointed the gun at the ICE officer. The ICE officer shot him. Self-defense, because first of all, why are you pointing a gun at somebody who also has a gun? Well, secondly, it's literally illegal to shoot shots up in the air. It is really sad that he was unalived because this is a very preventable situation.
I agree. You look at the facts, you look at the story. There's a reason why this wasn't pushed out. Do you really think? I'm going to tell you this right now. The left, the liberal side, the Democrats are begging for a black person to be shot like Renee Good was shot in Minneapolis. They need black person to get shot so they can have that all over the media. So you really think that a black man getting shot by ICE agent, you think if he was in the right, we would all know his name? We would. But the reason why this isn't pushed is because he was wrong. And it was proven that he was wrong. That's the reason why we don't know who Keith Porter is. It's because he was wrong. I'm telling you, the day that a black person gets shot rightfully by an ICE agent, it's going to be all over the news because they are begging for black people to join their fight. This won't work because the facts are the facts. Keith Porter was wrong. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Go get a Patreon coming soon. No Filter morning show coming soon. Appreciate all the support, all the help. I tell the facts. I tell the truth. No filter. It is sad that this man has left his kids. But like the young lady said here, it could have been prevented. I'm out.